Whether you want insane aim, amazing performance, or anything in between, I'm going to be covering all the following sections to help you out as much as possible. Starting with resolution, let's use 1920 by 1080 or your monitor's native resolution. Also, a stretched resolution like the ones on screen that I've tested out will help you boost your FPS as well. Next, frame rate limit should be set to whatever your monitor's max refresh rate is. So in my case, I set it to 240 FPS because I'm using a 240 Hz monitor. Now, which rendering mode to pick depends entirely on which type of PC you have. High-end PCs should use DX11 or 12, mid-range PCs should use DX11, and low-end PCs should use performance mode for the best possible in-game performance. Now, colorblind mode is very personal preference, but I do personally use 125% brightness with Tritanope with 7 colorblind strength, and if you are currently on performance mode, I do recommend that you switch to DX11 because there are settings on DX11 that aren't on performance mode that we need to change. But once we get to this timestamp in the video, you'll be perfectly fine to switch back to performance mode. With that said, anti-aliasing and super resolution should be turned off, and which 3D resolution to use will also depend on the type of PC you have. Mid-range PCs should use between 80 and 100%, high-end PCs should use between 90 to 100%, and finally, low-end PCs should use between 65 and 100%. These ranges are perfect to give you a slight performance increase without totally messing up the quality of your game. Dynamic 3D res, nanite virtualized geometry, and shadows should all be off, and then the following two settings, global illumination and reflection, should both also be turned off. For view distance, I use far, but if performance is an issue, using low is still perfectly fine because you can see weapons and builds from a very comfortable distance. And then to close off the graphics settings, textures, effects, and post-processing should all three be on low. Briefly, for your advanced graphics, be sure that use GPU crash debugging is also turned off. Now for section 2, let's cover the most important in-game settings. Start by turning on auto open doors. If you're tunneling and you mess up a corner edit, you're going to be very grateful that you have this setting on. Next, let's also use hold to swap pickup. This will let you loot quicker and will also let you swap weapons around easier after fights as well. And now here is my preferred item slots configuration, and if you don't want to use mine, I really recommend creating a configuration that you like. This also saves you time by automatically sorting your weapons to any customizable configuration that you choose. But with that, we'll also turn on disable pre-edit so you don't mistakenly pre-edit your builds throughout a fight. The next setting, auto confirm edits. If you play on KBM, you should set this to edit, but if you play on controller, you should go ahead and set this to both. And then for some additional FPS, feel free to turn off all 4 of these replay settings so Fortnite doesn't record replays in the background. And then finally, for these 2 energy saving settings, if I'm being totally honest, I have no idea if these have any effect on your FPS or not, and I don't have a solid answer to give you. But to err on the side of caution, if you have performance issues, keeping them both off is definitely a safe bet. Getting into the third section, sensitivity. I previously played on 800 DPI, but I have since switched that to 1000 DPI and 10.2% X and Y, and then 35.5 on target and scope. My build and edit sense is set to 155% on my building and 145% on my editing sense. This exact same build and edit sensitivity had me flying around in creative earlier, so I definitely recommend that you try it out too. And now for keyboard or double movements, you want to definitely go ahead and turn this on, and you want to use 75 on your forward, 90 on your strafe, and 135 on your backward angle. Double movement transforms the current style of movement by allowing you to easily place builds to the side, and you're also able to take sharp corner turns a lot smoother. Now in audio, definitely turn on visualize sound effects. To put it simple, it basically lets you see things before you can even hear them. It is super OP, and you should definitely try it out if you haven't already. Now for section 4, here are some additional performance tips. Ensure that Fortnite is closed, and then go ahead and open up the Epic Games launcher, and now you want to go ahead and find out where Fortnite is located. Once you find it, go ahead and click these 3 dots and then go ahead and click options, and now you want to do the following. You want to go ahead and uncheck high resolution textures, and then you want to check the box that says disable cosmetic streaming. To put this simply, this pretty much means that Fortnite will download textures that they usually stream locally during gameplay. With that said, you will find times that player models do not render incorrectly, but it won't be game breaking and it won't make your experience miserable, so I do recommend that you definitely turn this on. Now go ahead and click apply to save these changes, and now you're going to notice that Fortnite will start updating, but since I've already done this, it's not updating for me. But now once Fortnite's done updating, now we're all set. I lost 16 hours worth of work on this video, so if you want to try and heal my pain, please like and subscribe. And if you do want to go the extra mile and support me further, consider popping code Cozmos in the item shop because that truly does mean the absolute world to me, and you guys are legends that use my code. But I'm gonna go work on more videos and hopefully not delete the source files for the next ones, and I'll see you guys all very soon.